For now it is time to glorify Ahiah, Ashur, Ahiah, Bahashim, Ishaya, Ruach. I am Shabar Israel, and today I will be prophesying. For a couple of months, the Most High was showing me that there were signs in the sun and moon. And what I mean by that is I would see the sun shining all the way up to 10:30 a.m. Uh, until about 12. And at the same time, there would be a full moon there in the middle of the daytime. And I was wondering, is anybody paying this any of attention? I did have it on video. Somehow I managed to delete it, but nevertheless, I was searching through the scriptures and I found several scriptures concerning what I was seeing. But being that I received my understanding from above, I asked for wisdom, instruction, and understanding. And so he answered me through a vision. In this particular vision, I was at the same store. It was a night vision. And I was at the same store where I saw the occurrence happening. I got out of my car and I began to prophesy to the daughters of Zion. It might have been a couple of men there from the nation of Israel, but nevertheless, it was mainly women that I was prophesying to them about earthly things such as jewelry, hair extensions, and things of that nature, serving the pagan holidays, especially Christmas. Even though it was a night vision, when I got out of my car, there was the sun. Then immediately, when I began to prophesy, the moon left her chariot, as it states in the book of Enoch, and slammed to the ground, and I could physically hear it break into pieces. Now, this is the second time that I've experienced the moon leaving her chariot and falling to the ground, breaking into pieces. I know that in the book of Enoch, it states that the moon follows the sun, but I knew from my spirit within that there's no way that the moon's supposed to be out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon along with the sun. After that happened, I was awakened and I received wisdom, instruction, and understanding concerning the signs in the sun and the moon. And I will be focusing on the book of Amos along with other chapters, but mainly the book of Amos. And it reads, Thus hath the Most High Power showed unto me, and behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. The end is come upon my people of Israel. I will not again pass by them anymore. Notice that in the first couple of verses, the Most High is showing the prophet Amos a basket of summer fruit. He states in the second verse, the summer fruit symbolizes that the time is right for judgment. I will not again pass them anymore. And the songs of the temple shall be howlings in the day, said the Most High Power. There shall be many dead bodies in every place. They shall cast them forth with silence. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit, that we may buy the poor for silver, and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. The Most High have sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their works. Shall not the land tremble for this, and every one sworn that dwelleth therein, and it shall rise up wholly as a flood, and it shall be cast out and drowned as by the flood of Egypt. And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Most High Power, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. All the way up to this point, we have unrighteous men and women and they are leading the Most High's people astray. They are dealing away with his Sabbaths. They are forsaking the poor. They are falsifying balances by deceit. And we know that a false balance is an abomination to the Most High, according to the book of Psalm. But a just weight is his delight, as it states that his people rise up early to do wrong, but the way of righteousness they have not known it. He states that the land should tremble for this. And he said he will make the sun to go down at noon, and he will darken the earth in the clear day. Here is the meat of this. He's going to make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth in clear day. Just like I saw, this is the prelude to judgment. It's a prelude to judgment. And he said, I will turn your feasts into mourning and all your songs into lamentations. And I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins and baldness on every head. And I will make it as the morning of an only son, and the end thereof as bitter day. Now we know accordingly to Hosea 4:6 that the Most High says that his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also will reject thee. Furthermore, years later, he goes on to say that knowledge shall be increased in the latter days in the book of Daniel. So here we have no excuse for unrighteousness. And he's going to turn these feasts, your Christmas, your Easter, your Thanksgiving, all the pagan rites and rituals into mourning and lamentation, for there is no excuse. For if we sin willingly, then there is no room for repentance. Shall we continue in sin so that grace may abide? The Most High forbid. So this is a prelude to judgment. It signifies judgment on the house of Israel. And let me make this clear. The knowledge of the Most High and his people is in the earth. So to the Hebrew first, then the Gentiles. There's no excuse for you Gentiles as well. As you are worshiping or claiming to worshiping the Most High, but we know most Christians worship Yeshua, the Messiah, which is incorrect. You will be judged accordingly to that. The Most High said that all those who bless the house of Israel shall be blessed, but all those who curse the house of Israel shall be cursed. So the Gentiles are in the same boat under certain different stipulations. You cannot serve two masters. You would either love one and hate the other. And what is the love according to the Most High? If ye love me, keep my commandments. And we know from reading the book of Peter, it states that judgment comes at the house of the Most High first. This does not exclude Gentiles, for the times of the Gentiles have been fulfilled. And I just want to share just one of my many experiences that I've had. I've prophesied to so many people that I cannot even count the number. So I've been storing my fruits for the kingdom of heaven. I know my angel of the presence have written down every work that I have done. And I must say that in this particular experience, or when I began to prophesy, I was in the parking lot, and I'm not going to give all the details, but just to make this brief, I ran into the store to get something, and me and the woman ended up in an altercation, and she called the police, her and her husband. And I told her, I said, what are you doing calling the police on a simple matter, when I had already told her there was no need for her to call the police. I had everything under control that I was dealing with. But she still proceeded to call the police after I told her it was unnecessary. And many other people agreed as well. And I told her to call the police. I said, They bleed just like I do. Keep in mind, knowing that I knew that this woman was in the wrong, and she was a Hebrew Israelite. And I said, why don't you call the police on the things that should be reported instead of something asinine as this? She began to pull out her cell phone and film the matter. I told her, go right ahead, film it. I said, write it down if you would like. And then I said, even mind you that surely oppression maketh the wise person mad, according to the book of Ecclesiastes. And I said, I bet you're the main ones that have that spirit, the reason why we got through on the boat and over here in shackles, and etc. And I said, I bet you have a Christmas tree in your house. And I said, do you know that in the book of Jeremiah that you do not supposed to put up a Christmas tree in your house? And she goes on ranting and whatever. And she states, well, who are you? I told her, well, I'm a prophet. Just like that. Keep in mind, being in this weary land, I hate, I'm tolerant, but I hate unrighteousness. She said, I ought to hit you right now. I said, go ahead, hit me. And I know that an angel of the Most High, keep in mind I'm a very short person, and this woman was well in the 6 foot range. And I said, go ahead, hit me. And right when she stated, well, let me go into my purse. And right then, I know this was the Most High. He knocked her false teeth out of her mouth. I knew this was the Most High, spiritual intervention. And I proceeded to get in my car and I left. The reason why I bring this out, brothers and sisters, I have been through a lot over these past 10 years concerning the house of Israel. And like the book of Jeremiah, he stated that he will not pray for these people. Not anymore. Because the Most High has given ample amount of time for repentance. Yeshua has given grace extended beyond grace. And the things that they should stand up for, they're not making a stand for. So I agree with the prophet Jeremiah. It's time for the Most High to execute judgment upon the face of the earth. And those that did not receive me, as many of you, we will be a witness on that judgment day. I just wanted to share that particular scenario with you all to let you know that I'm going through the same thing. But as the Most High stated through Yeshua, you will receive 100 times more persecution. But in the end, everlasting life. So we know that the sun and the moon, the changes in the luminary, represents a prelude to judgment. And also that, last but not least, this is verified in the Old Testament and in the New Testament when Yeshua said that, but in those days after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Now I know that make reference to the day of the Most High being at hand, but this particular prophecy signifies the day of the Most High. In this case, is the judgment on the nation of Israel and to the Gentiles. As I stated in the previous video, those who refuse to take part in the tree of life, to eat from that tree, and to drink from the fountains of living water, let them be unjust still, for the time is at hand. The signs and the sun and the moon. Those who have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. And watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.